Adding the crown race, and then the bearing chamfer side up. Feed it through the upper bearing chamfer facing down with the whatever this is called, this guy here. Spacer, and I've already pre-measured how I know how many spacers I need. Last but not least, the handlebar. Okay, so this is about 2.7 millimeters. 2.7, so I'd say about double. And we'll use this to cut. We needed to cut about almost 5 millimeters below this line, right? So I've actually got this spacer, one of the spacers, and I'll be using that just to mark right here. There we have it. Now shimmy this up, and that should be good enough. And we'll draw our final cutting marking line right here. That will give us enough distance below the expander plug, and this will allow enough compression of the top cap. It's pretty ghetto, this method that I'm using. Wipe it around, seal it, make sure there's no excess that's going to take up room. Put the expander plug in. It sits just below the surface of the handlebar, maybe about 2 to 3 millimeters, which is perfect. And once I assemble this, basically it will be pulling the expander plug and fork headset assembly up, and that way it'll keep it tight. And I'll install this, tighten it up slightly, finger tight, and then I'll be able to, there'll be enough compression in the whole headset and fork, and then I'll go ahead and tighten these up. So it's a win. We have an idea roughly of how much to cut. I'll add extra for the shifter as well. So we'll go through there and going through the integrated bar, the head tube, and through the bottom bracket area, and also through the rear. And we'll add a considerable amount to account for the curve for the rear derailleur. So go ahead and cut it right around here. This will be for the rear derailleur. Front derailleur is roughly like so, and coming up like something like this. So I'll add excess just in case, and I'll cut that like this. So add some extra for the shifter, going through the head tube and going through the back, bottom bracket area, and out to the rear brake, And once again, I'll add extra just to be on the safe side. So this is for the rear brake, the front brake hose, and we're going to go down all the way through here, and just a bit extra just in case, right? So we'll go ahead and cut this like so. We've got our brake cable housing and shifting housing. I'm using this mini screwdriver from a watch repair kit. Make sure the ends of the cables are cut clean. Okay, so shout out to Wrench Friday. I saw his video where he used an old gear cabling. So I think you've got to bend it, kink it at the end, as well maybe somewhere along the lines of right here. So we've got this bent cable end, and what we're going to do is route it through the handlebar like so. You can see it passing through the first hole, and then hopefully it's, yep, actually there it is, and push, and there you have it. First gear cabling has come through, and so I'm going to use this and route the brake and gear housing. Hope that it grabs, and then I'm going to pull this simultaneously as I push the brake housing. Miraculously, it kind of seemed to work. By no means is this easy. My goodness. Okay, so we're going to route this brake housing, front brake housing, to the front. Give some excess for the levers. There we go, one cable in. When I did remove the housing from the handlebar, it does seem like it's quite sharp in here. So just be careful when you install and reinstall your cable housing outers. It's quite sharp here, so just a quick note. Holy jeez. After many pickings and struggle, I finally got the brake housing cable through. Let me just tell you, this integrated handlebar, or handlebars in general, they are not fun at all. It is quite sharp in here, and it is tugging at the cable, so I'm just hoping that it stays in place. After much deliberation and picking, tweezing, everything in between, we've got all 4 cables, cable housings set up, crossing our fingers that I've added enough length to the rest of the cables. We'll see. We're going to go ahead and add the headset assembly with this one first. Sure it fits with the spacers that I've pre-measured, and it will be something like so. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and add some anti-vibration foam on the down tube area for the front and rear derailleur, and also rear brake line, the cable outers, so here as well as the chainstay. So I'll go ahead and cut this to length and then add them on the cable outers. We will be using this thing called TOOPRE internal cable routing. This I found on AliExpress, similar to the Park tool, and it is perfect. So this is what I'll be using, and you've got your instructions and your internal routing cable tool, and it is magnetic based, and inside you've got your different fittings for cable routing. So I'll be using this one specifically, because it has the barb on the end to fit through the cable outer housing. So the way I'll use it is I'll actually screw this on this end and I'll fit this into the cable housing outer. What I'll do here is feed it through this end and I'll use the magnet to attach it, and I'll feed it. You can see it feeding. There you go. Easy peasy. Now once that's done, you grab your outer cable housing and you screw this barb in. Screw this barb in like so. Just keep screwing it in all the way until you can't really turn it. Now that's snug, so you know it won't come out. And what you do is the cable that was already fed in, it's magnetic, so you attach like this and you go ahead and pull from the other end and you feed this in. And with a bit of luck, you'll be able to pull your housing through. It must be quite sharp in there. It looks like it's pulled at the cable end, but I finally got it through. This is not fun. Okay, on the rear brake hose. Okay, we are ready to go inside. Pulling at the other end. There you have it. It's already coming out this end. Just pull a bit more while feeding through the front side. And we've got our rear brake cable out. Okay, last but not least, we've got our front derailleur cable. Feed this in to the hose, the front derailleur cable to the magnet, and we're ready to go inside once more. There we go. There's the cable. I did a crap load of work and I didn't install the bearings before putting through the cable, so I'm gonna have to do that all over again. Front derailleur cable, rear derailleur, rear brake, FML.